How's it going, guys? Been about a week and a half since I uploaded, which is shameful. Hold on, I gotta fix this mess. Laplanet hat. It's in the store now. Although I can't do double logos, that's just obnoxious, so deal with my hair. So, macro lenses are extremely expensive, as you probably already know, in case you've searched for this video and clicked on it. So there is a way to get macro photography done on a budget, providing you already have lenses. First of all, but for reference, let's take a quick gander at how much macro lenses go for these days, shall we? First thing that pops them onto Amazon. Let's see, Tonica 350, that's actually not bad. 750 for the Canon EF 100mm. That's nothing to sniff at. I mean, 750 is 750 for a very specific lens. But if you have a great lens that you already like, how about use that? And that can be achieved with a lens extender. This is just a barrel extender. It comes in a few pieces that you can unscrew from here. And then you attach the lens of your choice. Right here, it shows the connections there. And then you mount this to the body itself, and then this to the lens. So I have to shoot with the Sony RX 100 right now because obviously my main camera is taken up. But it's good to use a flash when you're taking pictures because your pictures will be darker when the glass is extended to this degree. So sometimes it's nice, especially when you're shooting things like rings, when you want a little illumination on the gem. It works pretty good. So I didn't set up for a whole studio like that because it takes the time, but I have it set up enough so that you can get an idea of what it would look like. So this is a great thing to do if you want to be able to shoot jewelry. Just to show how close this thing is, look at how close the lens has to be to get that. Man, look how close that is. So right now I don't have the full extension on. I have the 14mm and the 7mm extender, but I left off the 28mm because the depth of field was too shallow to be able to focus on anything important. Even now it's almost ridiculously shallow, ludicrously so. So that, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. It has varied effects depending on which lens you use. Now I have a 7.5mm. It's the Laowa 7.5mm. It's a rectilinear lens, not fisheye, which is very rare. Actually, it doesn't exist outside of Laowa for that size for micro four thirds. And pretty much at any aperture setting, it's unusable. I can't see out of it. I'm not sure why. From all the research I've done, you're supposed to mount these somehow in the opposite direction. So the base of the lens, right here, you would be pointing this out and shooting from the other side of the lens. And for some reason, I can't seem to connect it that way. All I can do is connect it so that it extends it, which it works. And I'll show you in a minute how well it works. But it seems to be contrary to most of the things I've found. So maybe that's specific to the model I have. I don't know. But that's how it works for me. So typically how that would work is when you would shoot from this end, when you stretch it out a ways, the optics, it would just make it closer. There's scientific ways of explaining this, and I'm not the man for that job, but that's how it works. Typically you'd shoot from this end instead, and you would get your desired macro shots. Now, it works great with this lens when it's extended to the 42mm, which on a micro four thirds system will look more like an 84mm. So it gets pretty close, and I'll throw up some examples here. I already took some, so I'll show you the pictures I got of this hat. I got into the very fine details of the threads, and you can see, like, they look like cords. They're huge, and you can see all the details of the stitching, which is really good. It's pretty cool. The one downside is that no matter what, at least with the aperture settings I have, if they are really, really small, even then the depth of field is so shallow that some images are hard to use because it's too shallow. And that's going to vary from lens to lens because they're all so different. Any characteristics of your lens is going to be greatly exaggerated and amplified because of it. For example, with my Helios 44-2, which I have yet to do a review on. We'll talk about that later. But with this lens, the imperfections in the glass are so greatly exaggerated that some of the images are too flaring and too many leaks. They're hard to use because it's so exaggerated and there's so much chromatic aberrations. So is this a perfect solution? Probably not, because it is tricky to get used to, but it's also $10, which is super cheap. And some of the results, especially if with video, I mean, you could do some pretty cool things provided you have the right lens. And it's worth it to try it with your lens to see how well it will respond. So I would probably recommend giving it a shot, especially if you want to start getting into it. But the trickiest thing I've seen to get around is definitely the super shallow depth of field. And I've tried these at like all the settings. Now here's another thing. If you have this, you may run into the same problem I had, where it's kind of hard to separate, and that's what this thing is for. You got to pull this all the way down and then twist again and you're good to go. The first time I was trying to get rid of it, I was trying to twist this, and I thought it was like an unscrew type thing, and it has give that way and it makes it feel like it, but no, you just pull it down. Hear that? Pull it down and then twist and you're good to go. So if you clicked on the video for how to use this and that was your question, then I hope I helped you there. Anyway, that was my tip on getting into macro photography, super cheap. It's really hot in this room. The AC doesn't reach here, and this thing is like an oven. I'm gonna start sweating through my beautiful shirt, which you can buy on LaPlanetArts.com. All right, I'm making things weird. If you want to try the extension barrel, I'm gonna have that link below as well. But one thing I do want to tell you about is that I have the OnePlus 7 Pro, and I haven't done a review on it yet, and I will. Not that there hasn't been many reviews on it, but the one thing I can contribute is I know how to fix the camera, which is the one thing that people found negative about this device. Stay tuned for that. If you have this phone, I'm gonna show you how to fix it. All right, that's enough for me today. We'll see you guys later.